Good morning, stamping friends. How are you all doing today? My name is Lorri Heiling, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm so happy that you chose to join me this morning, or maybe you're watching the replay. Either way, you'll always find me on Tuesday and Friday mornings at 9 o'clock Arizona time, and if you can't catch the live, then I will always post the video so you can go back and watch it. Well, I'm excited to share some fun things happening in the Stampin' Up! World. First of all, we have a Merry and Bright online extravaganza coming up. Look at this, for 24 hours on the 24th of November, which will be next Tuesday, everything except a few excluded items will be 10% off. So start gathering your list and think of everything that you might need and make that list, and I would love for you to place an order, and if you do, and if it's under $150, then go ahead and use the host code up here. That really helps me out. So I hope that you'll take advantage of that. I will be doing a Facebook Live that morning, and so I will remind you, but I would just encourage you to start a list going. Sometimes you don't really know you are out of it until you get to that point in your project. For example, dimensionals, I'm always running out of those. So what I do is I'll even show you, I have a little pocket note, like a little list of, this is just part of a notebook cut off so I can get lists. I'm a list person. So I just write everything down there that I need, that I run out of. And then when it comes time to place an order, I always have that list by my computer. That way I don't have to store it in my memory, and because I always forget something that I need. So that's coming up, and here's a list of things. Now it looks like a lot, but some of these are kind of duplicate. Like if you look at the prepaid paper pumpkin, you know, that's that much. It's 1, 3, 6, and 12 months. So some of these items, which are, there's no really rhyme or reason, like this, the adhesive and the envelopes aren't on sale, but there's a lot in that catalog. So even though this is a page and a half of exclusions, there's still thousands of things to choose from that are on sale. So I will also post that in case you want to see what is not on sale. All right, let's get started with a Christmas project again. And I'm also going to show you a sneak preview of one of the products that I used on this project that will be available in the next catalog that comes out in January. So let's see, I'll show you the stamp set we're using. It's called Peace and Joy. The reason this is one of my favorites for winter is because it has dies that cut all these words really teeny tiny. I don't know why I'm a word person, but anything that cuts out words and really skinny letters I love. So we're going to use this one again. I've used this before. And so in the paper, it's going to be again a not so traditional color. We don't always think of black with Christmas, but it's really pretty because it offsets the colors really nice. So I just, this is an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of black cardstock, and I scored it down the middle at 4 1/4. And I don't know if you can see this, but I embossed this with the new product that's coming out in January. This is an embossing folder, and it's a 3D one, so there's a lot of dimension to it. And look at what it looks like. We are doing remodel in our house, and this is what my walls look like. It's kind of like textured because we have kind of like a, I don't know what the style is, but it looks like splotches of paint. You know, it's kind of a distressed look, but it's just going to be really fun to work with. It's called Painted Texture 3D Embossing Folder. So I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer to the camera and see if you can see. Isn't that neat? It looks like someone even took oil painting, and it's just got a lot of like paint textures. It's hard to describe, but it's definitely got some deep, you know, grooves in here. So that's one of the new folders. So just fold that in half on the score line like that, and we will set that to the side and work on the other parts. Now I am going to grab my silicone craft sheet because I like to protect my surface I'm working on, and when I use mono adhesive glue, sometimes it goes over the edges a little bit. So that's another reason I like to use this. Then we're just going to take a 4 1/4 by 2 inch very vanilla cardstock, and and then I took red foil sheets, and the red foil sheets, I'll show you what they look like. You get 2 of each color in our pack in the holiday catalog. You get red and green, and they're just really bright and fun. And because they're foil, they really make your cards sparkle and give it a little more pizzazz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the red foil on the back of the Whisper White, and I don't know how big of a border I'm going to do. Maybe like in between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch. And that little strip is 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. And let's do the exact same thing on the other side. And you could use snail for this as well. I like to use liquid glue in case I have to kind of shimmy it a little bit, and you can move it before it dries. And so it makes it a little bit easier to work with for this. Does that look about even? All right. Now the next part, we are going to, I cut out 2 more. I did this beforehand so you didn't have to watch me, but I just used my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I did Joy out of gold foil sheet, and then again I used that same red foil. So for this I'm just going to glue this on the front, and remember, less is more for this because you don't want a lot of glue, you know, kind of sneaking out the sides because it'll smudge a little bit. So just put a little bit on. And my order just came right before I went live, and so I would be using my adhesive sheets, but I didn't even have time to dig through it because I wanted to get this video done. All right, so we'll just let that dry here. And this is going to go on the very vanilla sheet that we did. And I'm not going to glue it on now. I'm just going to set it here for placement because I'm going to stamp on here, and I just want to be able to kind of figure out where I'm going to put dimensionals underneath it, but I'm going to tilt it a little bit going up. Now we're going to take the holly leaves that are in this stamp set and Old Olive. I played with all of our greens, and I think Old Olive was my favorite because it's a little bit brighter than the other ones. So just ink that up well. And when you're using more of a solid image like leaves or, you know, like a big flower, anytime you use solid like that, it's always important to use our Stampin' Pierce mat. And that's because these do not have foam in the stamp. You see, it's just photopolymer, and it will help it grab the inside of the stamp. Sometimes it'll miss in there because you don't have that foam in the rubber stamp, like the red rubber. So with photopolymer, we're gonna make our foam right there. With words that are just simple writing words, you don't always need this, but for something like this, you do. So we are going to ink that. Let's go right about here. And then we're going to take Joy to the World. And I played around with this as well. First I used Memento, which is always our go-to. However, Stays On is a little bit darker, and I wanted this to be like pure black so it matches the back of our card, like the base of it. So it says To the World, so it's going to say Joy to the World. So we ink that up well and then just stamp it on here, and it gives a nice crisp black stamp. Look at how nice and solid that is. The Memento isn't quite as dark as that. So all right, now I think we're ready to put Joy on. So we will grab some dimensionals, and I always like to use my piercing tool because it's easier to pick up. And you don't need too many of them. Let's go, you know what, I'm going to trim this one down in half. It's a little bit too wide for this skinny part of Joy. So, whoopsie, stuck to the scissors. So I'm just going to put one more little piece on there. All right, now, once you get that peeled off, just stick it on the front of the card, and then we're going to add one more little bling to this to make this part complete. Let's go right there. And look at, I hardly have any of these left. These are our red rhinestones jewels, And I am also almost out of these, but I'm going to put a couple of these hollies just need a little bit something on the end here. So a couple of those. And now we are ready to put this on our card front, and wait till you see the contrast between these colors. And for this one, I'm going to use the larger dimensionals. Just put them on all the corners like this. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? We are traveling up to Flagstaff. My daughter and her husband bought a second home up there, a little getaway spot. So we're gonna go celebrate up there, mainly because our house is still under construction, the remodel. So we just want a nice little break from all this stuff going on here. So let's just put this right in the middle and line up the edges. Did I get it straight? Looks pretty good. Now, doesn't that black really set off? Whoops, you know what? Yeah, I guess I did that. I thought I forgot to take off the, but anyway, whoops, you know what? This needs to hike to the left a little bit. If you pull off dimensionals right away, like not wait a whole day, they will come off right away. It's almost like they didn't have time to really get used to being set on this card, but I need to hike it over to the left. So when you do this, make sure the left side is covered. And then if you need to trim a little bit off on the right side, you can, but actually that looks good. It's perfectly in line. If it's not, you just trim it there. Okay, that looks better. I had it a little bit over too far in there. But anyway, I just really love red and black, the contrast of it, and the foil makes it shimmer a little bit more. So it's just a very simple card. You could easily crank a bunch of these out. And again, I was telling you, I really enjoy the non-traditional colors for Christmas sometimes. So, all right, well, we will chat with you again next Tuesday morning. I'll have another project ready. And thank you again for joining me. And again, don't forget the host code if you would like to order from my online store. That would be awesome. Thank you and have a great weekend coming up. Bye-bye, everyone.